Hey guys, welcome back to another video. This video is a video I am so excited for. I have literally been waiting what feels like forever to finally be able to make this video, and I'm so proud I can even sit here today and create this video for you guys. As you guys can tell from the title, I recently lost quite a bit of weight, which I am so proud of, but I wanted to share how I lost that weight and share any tips that might be able to help you guys in your weight loss journey. A quick disclaimer, I just wanted to put out there, every single person is absolutely beautiful in whatever weight they are. What matters at the end of the day is that you are healthy and that you feel confident in yourself. So by no means am I saying that you have to be a certain way or look a certain way to be beautiful, but this is just my personal preference. This is what I feel confident in, what I feel comfortable in my pretty much natural weight before I went through this weight gain all of a sudden. So for reference, I am 5 feet and 4 inches. I don't have too many pictures, unfortunately, of when I was my heaviest because I hated the way that I looked and I refused to take pictures at all times, but I will insert some pictures around of when I was my heaviest. And as of today, I am 157 pounds, 0.4, which is such an accomplishment. And these pictures that I put on the thumbnail was when I was 156.2, so I was like about a pound lighter in those pictures, but I don't think a pound is enough to like make a drastic difference in your physique. I don't know exactly the pinpoint of where my weight gain was, but I do like to blame my IUD. I feel like it all started around there, but it also happened to start right around where COVID started. So there's no defining factor of which one was the cause of my weight gain, but I feel like it was more of an IUD thing because I was not eating that much more than I typically would. I reached a total of 192 pounds point something. I'm not quite sure what it was because I was so ashamed of that weight that I didn't document it at the time. Unfortunately, that tends to happen when you're unhappy with your body. You don't really take pictures or document, or if you do, you kind of just like keep them hidden away or delete them. And my goal has always been to go back to 145 pounds. So I have on my phone an app called Lose It. It's technically a calorie tracking app, which I don't necessarily follow, but I do like its like weight record chart, so I do use that. So this is basically my reference. If you look here, obviously these weights down here are like from when I was 15 years old. So for reference, I am 23 years old at the moment. What I want to say was my regular starting weight was in late 2019, 2020, but I was around 149, 156, somewhere around there. My weight kind of fluctuated and I didn't really track it consistently like I do now because I wasn't really focused on losing any weight and I was pretty happy with my body at the time. But for reference, let's go off of September 6, 2019, where I was 149 pounds, and that's kind of just been my reference of where I want to go back to. So as you can tell, I had quite some big jumps in my weight. So I actually inserted my IUD in March of 2020. And as you can tell, this is May 19th, 2020. In May 2021, I had gained already almost 20 pounds just from the IUD. I didn't really eat much differently. I didn't really do anything differently. I barely worked out regardless. I even started working out, which you would assume would cause some weight loss. And then after that, I did fluctuate a little bit. I was trying to go up and down. And as you can tell, the highest I recorded was 189, but I did actually reach 192. I specifically remember that date because I was so shocked that I got to that level that I never in 1,000 years imagined I would ever get to that weight. And I remember I had a full mental breakdown. I was very unhappy with my body and I felt very lethargic. I felt like I couldn't move. There were so many things that my body was restricted to at that point. I couldn't even cross my legs, which is like my favorite sitting position. So that's how I knew things were at a level that I was definitely not comfortable with anymore. On September 12th, I was 189 pounds, but I actually did not start my weight loss journey till end of September, early November, which is like the worst time to choose to be on a weight loss journey, because there's Thanksgiving, there's Christmas, there's New Year's, there's so many holidays around that time, and I knew it was gonna be tough, but I definitely had a goal in my mind, and I knew that I was just gonna put my mind to it. I never thought I could do this. The amount of times that I went on a diet, or I restricted my eating habits, or I started working out for the millionth time, and I never really stuck to anything, and I feel like that's where my issues were, that I was expecting to see results overnight. I was expecting to lose 10 pounds in a week. I was expecting to, like, I don't know, I think I thought it was like, it worked like magic. So I never really stuck to anything because I never saw results fast enough, and that kind of discouraged me in a sense. But for some reason this time I really set my mind to it, and I just said, nice and steady, we're not trying to win a race here, we will get there when we get there, and at the end of the day what matters the most is my health and how good I feel in my body. So I think that's what caused me to stick with it this time, and it's really all about your mindset. You can't expect things to happen overnight. You have to be realistic and set a goal and say, I don't know, a year from now I want to lose 20 pounds or something like that, which is a pretty realistic goal. I think 4 pounds a month is pretty realistic. I started back in November, like I said, and we're currently in June, so I'm averaging about 4.5-5 pounds, give or take. It depends. Some months I lost like 6 pounds, some months I only lost like 1 pound. It's really not a very consistent slope, but it is downhill overall, which is what matters. My next record was November 11th, so I probably started like at the very beginning of November, but I'm pretty sure I started then, and I weighed a total of 186.4. I basically weigh myself almost every single day, which I don't recommend doing, but I only recorded when I was lower. But your weight fluctuates so much. Take this week, for example. 2 days ago, I was like 1.5 pounds lighter, and now today I gained 1.5 pounds again. You can't really let that discourage you. It's hard sometimes because you want to go down, and sometimes you see it go up 1 pound or 2 pounds. But overall, you're still going down. So my next entry was on November 30th, where I was 185.6 pounds. And it basically goes on and so forth until we reach now, which, like I said, on June 11th I was 156 pounds 0.2. So let's get into how I did it in the first place. Like I said, I feel like I have been on a new diet or a new workout program or a new something since I was like 16 years old, which is absolutely ridiculous to be so self-conscious at that age, especially when I was perfectly fine. But society's standards is really hard to live up to, especially when you're like comparing yourself constantly and looking at all these other beautiful women. Nothing really ever worked out for me. So I was vegan for a while, I was vegetarian for a while. I did lose a little bit of weight there, but it wasn't like life-changing by any means. So I did that not for the weight though, it was more for personal preference. I did go back, I think around the time where I met my boyfriend, I ended up eating meat again. And I don't think that affected me too much because I was quite a couple months eating meat again, and my weight was like pretty much the same. Maybe I gained like 5 pounds or anything, but it wasn't anything significant to say like, oh, that really affected me. So every time I went on a new diet or I went on a new workout program, I didn't really see any results, and I was going so hard and pushing myself so far that it wasn't really consistent and it wasn't sustainable. And at the end of the day, that's what you want to find. You want to find something that's sustainable and something that works for you, that you know that you can keep up with in the long run, that you can maintain for the rest of your life. You don't want to do, like, for example, the military diet is like one of the diets I've heard. I think it's like ridiculous, like you eat 1 egg, black coffee, and like that's it, or something like that. There's just so many diets out there that are not sustainable at all, and it's not something that you can maintain for the rest of your life. And you definitely want to find something that you can stick with and you love and don't mind doing, and it doesn't feel necessarily like a diet. So my idea was, instead of cutting out bread, cutting out carbs, cutting out everything that was quote unquote bad for you for losing weight, I just limited the intake that I had of each of those items. So to this day, I still eat rice when I want, I still eat chocolate when I want. If I want a piece of cake, I'll still eat it. I'll still basically treat myself to absolutely anything I want, but with moderation. That is the key word. I eat everything that I was eating before, except such a smaller quantity, the portion size is such an important factor. I was the type of person that would like stuff my face. Like if there was food on my plate, I had to finish it. There was no possible way for me to just like leave some of the food on my plate. And I feel like that was a really big issue because I was overeating so much. And by overeating, I was basically just so overly stuffed with food, and I felt so lethargic, and of course my weight was shooting straight up because I was fueling my body with so much more calories than it actually needed. So then I decided to start being mindful of the portions that I was eating. I decided to start listening to my body. I guess you can call it intuitive eating, but it wasn't necessarily that when I first started. It was more like, okay, I don't need to be like so full to the point that I want to throw up anymore. I can just eat till I'm satisfied and just stop. Like I don't have to be full every single time. I just need to be not hungry, if that makes sense. So I started off by like cutting my portions. I would eat a little bit less every single time. I would really try to listen to my body to the point that now if I go out to a restaurant, like I'll eat like half because it's usually enough for me to get full. The more weight I lose, the smaller my stomach gets, and the less food that I technically need to fuel my body. By using that method of just cutting portion size, I was still able to eat what I wanted because I wasn't restricting the specific foods. I feel like if you restrict specific foods and you like cut out chocolate, for example, I have such a sweet tooth. So if I were to cut out all sugar or like bad processed sugar from my diet, I would go insane and then just go on a binge eat episode, and that would just completely be counterintuitive and completely ruin the purpose of this whole weight loss journey. So by listening to my body, if I really had a craving of chocolate that day, I would have like a piece instead of a whole bar, or something that's like manageable or something that's not that harmful. It's okay to treat your body and listen to your body, because at the end of the day, you don't want to go on that binge eating episode and just basically undo everything you were doing for the past month or so. I did try to go to the gym here and there. I don't think it was a consistent part of my journey to say that it attributed to my weight loss by any means, but I mainly am a strength training type of girly, so I do like my weights. But I am so lazy when it comes to the gym. I have like zero motivation. I've always been easier to control my mouth and what I'm eating than the exercise that I'm doing. I'm pretty sure that if I were to incorporate gym or exercise into my lifestyle, I would be losing weight so much faster, but it's just something that's not sustainable for me, and I know that in the long run. So I'd rather focus on my eating habits and what I am eating and putting into my body, as well as the portions, than try to focus on exercising, hate it so much, be so hungry because I'm eating pretty low calories. If I exercise, it's gonna be even less calories that my body has to work with, and then I feel like I will end up on one of those binge eating episodes that I definitely want to avoid as much as possible. I am so close to my goal weight, and I'm so proud of myself, and I'm so excited to get there, and I already feel so much better about myself. My confidence levels are through the roof. One of the things that I found were that because I was so unhappy with the way I was and the way that I looked, I stopped even wanting to take care of myself. I stopped buying clothes. I would be in like sweats and joggers all day long. I would not put on makeup anymore. I wouldn't bother like dressing up. I wouldn't bother doing the things that I typically used to do my whole entire life. I felt like I was such a low point that I just didn't think I would look good regardless, and there was no point in putting in effort because either way I was already at a weight that I was definitely not happy with, and that just overshadowed everything else. As you can tell, I like doing my hair now. I like putting jewelry back on. I like putting makeup back on. Every single time I go out to dinner or just out on a date, I always try to dress up. I am back to buying clothes, which is kind of a problem in terms of my bank account, but we won't talk about that in this video. But it's definitely such a rewarding feeling, putting a goal, setting your mind to it, and being so close to accomplish it. I never thought in a million years I would get here, like I said, and it's just such a proud moment. I know if you guys are also on a weight loss journey, I just want you to know that you can do it. You just have to keep going. You can't lose the motivation, and you have to do it sustainably. You have to go down a little bit at a time. Even if it's a pound a month, it's still 1 pound. It's still going on a downward slope. You can do it if you set your mind to it, and I believe in you. If you need any support or any help or have any other questions of how I was able to achieve or am so close to achieving my goal, please leave a comment down below and I would be more than happy to talk to you guys and help you guys out. But that is basically it for my video. I hope you guys enjoyed and found some of my tips helpful and found a little bit more motivation. I know I always liked watching weight loss videos when I started my journey, of seeing how everybody did it and seeing what I can pick up, what tip I can pick up from each video that would help me in the long run. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any other video recommendations or anything else that you would like to see from me, also leave it in the comments down below and I would be more than happy to make those videos for you guys. Till next time.